guys? Who's excited to see some Jackie Chan? All right. Thank you all for coming to the second film in our Courageous Comedians series. The first was Buster Keaton's Steamboat Bill, back before Cuff. And tonight we are seeing Police Story, directed, written, and starring Jackie Chan. That is upside down. Okay, so Jackie Chan was born Chen Gangsheng in Hong Kong in 1954, and he was educated from age 6 to age 22 at the China Drama Academy in Hong Kong, training in Chinese opera, martial arts, and acrobatics. He was initially given the stage name Yuan Lo and became close friends with his classmates Sammo Hung and Yuan Biao, who would later enter the film industry with him after training in Hapkido. After completing his education, Chan briefly worked construction in Australia, where a man named Jack took him under his wing. He gained the nickname Little Jack, and so from then on he was Jackie Chan. Early film appearances for Chan included stunt performances in Bruce Lee films such as Fist of Fury and Enter the Dragon, where he can be seen as a minor henchman who gets killed by Bruce Lee's character. Bruce Lee was a phenomenon in the world of Hong Kong martial arts cinema in the early 1970s, and his untimely early death in 1973 led all of the major studios to kind of scramble to find Bruce Lee clones for their kung fu movies. Director Lo Wei, who had helmed Lee's early films, The Big Boss and Fist of Fury, cast Chan in the film New Fist of Fury, and he changed Chan's stage name to Chung Long, which means Become the Dragon, as Bruce Lee's stage name had been Li Xiaolong, which means Little Dragon. So a bit on the nose. Ultimately, New Fist of Fury was not a success because Chan's style was not compatible with Lee's style, and he was uncomfortable with being asked to imitate another performer. His major breakthrough was in the 1978 film Snake and the Eagle's Shadow, thanks to director Yuan Woping allowing Chan the freedom to choreograph his own stunt work, establishing Chan's signature style of comedic kung fu. The film Drunken Master later that year would propel Chan into mainstream acclaim. Wishing to continue this style, Chan left the studio of director Lo Wei, who was still hunting for his new Bruce Lee, and he joined Golden Harvest, which ironically had been Bruce Lee's studio. This prompted Lo Wei to send the Triads, which is the Hong Kong organized crime syndicates, after Jackie Chan. This dispute only ended thanks to director Jimmy Wan Yu intervening some years later. Chan made several attempts to break into the American film market with films like The Big Brawl in 1980 and The Protector in 1985, as well as a minor role in the comedy film The Cannonball Run in 1981. Chan highly enjoyed working on The Cannonball Run. Particularly what he enjoyed was the outtakes over the ending credits. And so he incorporated that idea into all of his future films, which showed audiences that the trick to his on-screen mastery of stunts and slapstick and martial arts was simply a willingness to do take after take after take after take until he got one that looked perfect. Frustrated by his failure to break through in America, Chan focused on his Hong Kong film market, with pictures like 1980's The Young Master establishing him as Hong Kong's newest and biggest martial arts star. Chan began to experiment with incorporating large-scale stunt sequences into his fight scenes, ultimately coming to build his films around these elaborate stunts. Inspired by the rhythm of Chinese opera and the daredevil antics of silent film comedians like Buster Keaton and Harold Lloyd, Chan produced a series of action comedy films with his Chinese opera classmates, beginning with Project A in 1983. Project A included stunts that referenced the work of Harold Lloyd, while Project A Part 2 in 1987 had direct homages to Buster Keaton's work. In 1985, Chan wrote, directed, and starred in tonight's movie, Police Story, for which he also sang the theme song, which he did for most of his films. The first film in what would become a long-running franchise, this movie contains Chan's largest and most elaborate stunt work up to date in this period, and deftly weaves excellent action sequences with martial arts prowess, an engaging story, hilarious slapstick comedy, and even some good character work, with Chan's character Kakui going through a bit of an evolution over the course of the film. Now, of course, these films were made long before digital stunt doubles and face replacements, so one of the incredible things about watching Jackie Chan here is knowing that just like Buster Keaton, that is really him pulling off these stunts and nearly dying over and over again. Chan and his co-writer Edward Tang created the film's story by planning the major action sequences first, based on what Chan was interested in accomplishing, and then building the story around those sequences. Police Story also features memorable performances from two of China's greatest actresses. The femme fatale role here is played by Brigitte Lin, who was originally born in Taipei, and whose frequent appearances in films throughout the 70s and 80s earned her a reputation as a screen goddess in Hong Kong. One of her best-known roles here in the West is in the 1994 film Chungking Express by Wong Kar-wai, which plays off of her femme fatale reputation. The role of Chan's long-suffering girlfriend in this film is played with comedic aplomb by actress Maggie Cheung in what would be her breakout role, which she reprised in the 1987 and 1992 sequels, Police Story 2 and 3. After enjoying a string of successes with these comedic roles, Cheung felt that she was playing too many weak, clumsy women and wanted to branch out into dramatic roles with stronger characters, and so began working with directors like Wong Kar-wai, which includes one of her best-known roles in the West in the film In the Mood for Love. Police Story was a hit at the Hong Kong box office. It became the third highest grossing film that year in Hong Kong, and it led to 5 sequels, all of which star Jackie Chan. Police Story 3, in particular, became the breakout role for actress Michelle Yeoh. Police Story won Best Picture and Best Action Choreography at the Hong Kong Film Awards, and while its initial reception by critics was mixed and it was not considered as highly as Project A or Drunken Master, in years since, its reputation has steadily increased and is now considered to be one of the best films in Jackie Chan's long career. So I hope you guys enjoy.